I heard what you and Columbus were talking about. You need psionic help?
Looks that way, but from what Columbus was talking about, it doesn't look like we're going to find it here.
Don't be too sure about that. I owe Columbus a great deal. But not all of us are as strict as he is about non-intervention.
So you're volunteering to help us out of this mess with the hand? What's in it for you?
I'm not the one who's going to help you. That would violate my principles as well and cost me Columbus's trust and friendship. No, there's someone else who might help you. Someone who has already fallen from grace. Someone I still might redeem. His name is Splits Magnola. He was a member of the League once, but Splits was a free spirit. He was jazzed on mind serving. Couldn't resist the touch of another's mind, and he couldn't submit to Columbus's authority.
You read a few minds, big deal. I'd probably do the same thing if I were psionic.
It's not as simple as that. The power is seductive. Splits started out innocently enough. Skim a woman's mind to see if she was interested. Project a scan during a card game to see if anyone was cheating. But it's a small step from there to planting an urge in a woman's mind or looking at somebody's cards through their eyes. Or playing all the hands at the table. Making people throw away cards they should have kept. Things like that. Once you're inside, you flash on the brain's unending possibilities. You can't resist exploring. And Splits was careless. Lacked the mastery to be gentle. He would make mistakes. Mistakes that left permanent brain damage.
Alright, so Splits is a Rudy and he got blackballed from your club. Why should we want to hook with a disrep like him? And what's your share in this?
Splits isn't the lost cause Columbus thinks he is. I know him. He isn't evil, just weak.
Know him? You mean you two were lovers? Sorry, girl, we don't have time to run love errands. You want your boyfriend back, you go get him.
Oh, you're a tough one, aren't you? I wouldn't have him back if he wanted me. Sex is different between psionics. We share countless connections. Body entwined with body. Mind pressed hard against mind. I've been inside his head. And I'd never trust him enough to love him. But I know that I can't let him destroy himself. The last we heard of him, he was involved with a gang of psionic psychotics, calling themselves the Menials. They work the black market for empathic resonances in order to fund their drug habits. If you can get him away from the Menials and bring him here, we might be able to save him from himself and gain you a psionic ally.
Maybe we're interested. Where do we find the menials?
They have a dive near the Capital South station.
And they're dealing in empathics, right? What's their source? They aren't just randomly panning the malls, are they?
All I know is that they're strip mining pure emotion from the patients in a mental hospital. I don't know which hospital. For that matter, it might be a no-name CRISPR. Just keeping the patients alive and scared so the emotions keep coming. The menials have to be stopped. And you can help me.
Why should we?
Because that's my price for helping you with Splits. You bring him here, and I'll see that he helps you. The menials aren't empaths. They don't care about anything, so they have to employ collector units. They call them diggers. They help them harvest emotional energy. If you can bring me one of the diggers, I'm sure I can add a cyberfry to it that will stop them. Help me stop the menials and bring Splits to me, and I'll make certain he helps you.
As you might expect of an organization dedicated to the study of death and the end of things, they haven't spent a lot on decorating. But from the founder's wheelchair to the holographic demon apiary chamber to the Nike 12,000 computer, the equipment is state-of-the-art. A paraplegic is fused to the circuitry of a high-tech chair. Mechanical arms move in a swirl of activity.
So then, you arrive unannounced. You have business, I'm certain. You may state it, but be brief.
My partner and I are private investigators. We're looking into the death of one of your employees, Adam Schönbrunn.
He was murdered by the scrub teams. He was in this very office before the dawn. That's when he liked to work. And the government death squad killed him.
What was a purported crime?
The scrub teams are not burdened by justification. Christie has lodged petitions on my behalf with the transgressor's office, demanding, as his employer, to know the charges. But nothing. They tell me nothing. Schönbrunn was a strange one. But then I guess anyone obsessed with the ultimate fate usually does appear, well, shall we say, intense. Or hard worker, though. Cross-disciplinary research, blending extra-numinal vision research with Dante mapping.
Would that get him killed?
It might, I suppose, if the government knew of it. But until Adam's death, only the people working on it knew it existed.
Something else, then. Something not related to his work here.
Or then I would be unable to help. You see, I know very little about him. He was quiet, about his past. I don't believe he had a family.
He and Roach used to drink at a speak called The Interface. That's all I know about him. Doesn't pay to have D-bases of personal information that the hand can appropriate.
You see that we can be of little help. As with all my employees, there is a template of his nervous system on file with Resurrections Unlimited. I believe... Oh, is his body in preservation there, Christie?
It is. We have him on a 6-year retainer. The damage to his heart is more or less reparable. The mortal wound was to his brain, and Resurrections believes it's at least 6 years from treatment.
What is this? You're telling us that this Resurrections outfit brings people back from the dead?
Well, not yet. But they are working on it, huh? Important work, or illegal work. They are a chemical company, what is the word? As a front for the real business. They are located in Arlington, not far from here. Hell is my business. Should you learn anything of interest about the underworld, I should like to hear it. My business.
A young woman exudes corporate professionalism and competence.
I've reservations about cooperating with these two, Hercule. We don't know them from a blood gang. They could knock us, and then we'd have a first-hand look at hell.
I refuse to live in fear of being shot by the Hand's death squads. And I don't believe any more than you do that the government controls the underworld.
We're going to end up in prison, no doubt about it.
We have some questions about Adam Schönbrunn.
All I know about Adam is what's in his file. I make it a point not to enter into personal relationships with the research staff. peculiar thing about him was that Hercule had never heard of him. A number of people said that they knew him, but no one had actually met him or spoken with him.
You weren't suspicious?
Of course we were suspicious, but we're an illegal operation. We have enough of our own secrets. If an employee has something to hide, that's his business. And like I said, people vouched for his work, and we could see he knew what he was doing. He was especially gifted at extracting topographic data from psychologic subtexts of narrative events.
You mean that he was rendering a map of hell based on books and movies with hell as a subject matter?
Subject matter doesn't need to be hell per se. Any story that reveals human understanding of evil, lust, death, hate, or venal sin reveals something about people's subconscious conceptions of hell.
Any idea why the Hand would want him dead?
Yes,